Good morning, Backyard Kids. This summer, we've had a great time learning all about what true confidence is and how we can have it. And we've learned that we can have true confidence when we start to see ourselves the way that God sees us. And we've also learned that we can have true confidence because of who God is and because of how much He loves us. You may remember from last week that we learned from the Apostle Paul that we can have confidence if we use the gifts that God has given us. And he talks about all these gifts and calls them the armor of God. Well, today we're going to hear a little more from the Apostle Paul in a letter that he wrote to the Romans. And what he told them is that he was absolutely sure that there was nothing in this world that could separate us from God's love. Not angels or demons or anything that's happened in the past or anything that can happen in the future. Not the highest points of life or the lowest points of life. Nothing at all can ever separate us because of God's love, from God's love. And that's because of what Jesus did for us when He gave His life for ours. It's a lot to take in, isn't it? So let's stop and let's think about our day. When you think about the things that give you confidence, there are probably things that happen that make you feel good. Maybe somebody paid you a compliment, or you got a great grade on a test, or you scored a point in a game, or had a really good day at practice. All of these things can make you feel good and give you sort of a measure of confidence. But there are plenty of things that don't build our confidence as well, things that make us feel worse about ourselves. Maybe you had an argument with your friend or one of your brothers or sisters. Maybe you had a bad grade on a test, or you had a really rough day at practice, or missed scoring a goal in a game. And all of these things can make you feel pretty bad. But what if these things that make you feel bad aren't things that happen to you, but they're bad feelings that you feel because of choices that you've made or mistakes that you've made? When we make things harder for ourselves by messing up or making bad choices, or when we sin, that can be the worst feeling of all and can really take away all of our confidence. And the truth is, guys, that we all mess up sometimes. We do things we wish we hadn't. We forget to show God's love to others. And we forget to use our actions to take care of other people the way would God have us. And when that happens, it doesn't just wreck our confidence. It can sometimes make us feel terrible about ourselves. It can make us feel so badly that we may feel that it pushes us far away from God. But that's when we have to stop and remember what we know is true and what Paul was reminding the Romans was true. We have to remember our relationship with God. It's not about what happens to us or what we might have done wrong. It's about how much God loves us. So remember again what Paul wrote to the Romans. Nothing can separate us from God because of what Jesus did for us. So when you put your trust in Jesus, you know for sure that nothing that you've done wrong can ever separate you from God, and that nothing bad that ever happens to you can ever change the fact that God loves you more than you can possibly imagine. So doesn't that make you feel confident? It should. And I hope that you'll remember these truths and what Paul wrote about them, and also remember our bottom line for this week. And that's that God loves you no matter what. Remember that this week and live with confidence.